because the story of the amount of ingenuity and love and passion that went through those rooms at Industrial Light and Magic. As those buildings were shutting down, there were a couple of parties and a lot of talking amongst a lot of the old timers. And again, I'm not an old timer and I was only there for 6 years, but it really did change my life from the age of 10 on. I've spent my whole life sort of chasing the beautiful ingenuity.
A year ago, they visited us as they were running this campaign for the 2-in-a-Box kit, of course, and they showed us some prototypes of the P.K.E. meter, of the
We
Ghost
spent a whole
Trap.
day geeking out with them. Also, we had been to the Frozen Empire set, and there was stuff they hadn't yet seen, so we showed them some things, and they got to start thinking.
The virtuous cycle of fandom, of commerce, of all that jazz.
Open this side.
Open this side. What they've sent to us is one of the very first production samples. This is as it comes from the factory.
Off the factory floor.
Yeah.
So this is production. This isn't like a prototype anymore.
That's right, final paint job. So we're gonna unbox it and give you what that experience is like, you know, in our style. So yes, let's throw. Things off camera.
This side up.
And this side up. Great. Box in a box.
We find every single time we get to hang out with the HasLab folks, just a wonderful, simpatico group of geeks and nerds.
I think they take a lot of pride in the deco. It's especially interesting and fun because this is never going to be on a store shelf. I mean,
Is it really?
I mean, it was only for the campaign, right? It's not like it's going to go in a
Into the box. Can you imagine the designer that got to just mess with this for a couple of weeks?
Yeah. A couple of weeks. Isn't that much?
A day or two. I'm sure you're right. I got all excited, dude.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it comes out of. Oh yeah, look at the 2 in the box. It says 2 in the box.
Oh, and they're
Pull
separate.
tabs.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's start one at a time then.
Yeah.
What's the first box?
The P.K.E meter. Oh no, we're not even sure. It just says Ghost Trap and P.K.E meter.
Okay, I'm gonna set this off for a second. Oh, all right.
Lovely. Lovely.
Oh,
They
the
include a whole
patches.
host of patches.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Their own special
Right.
one, and then the engineering one.
The engineering one, I really dig it. The OG.
And then yes, the
Stay Puft.
Afterlife slash. Is this the mini puff one?
I think that might be.
Oh no, it's Safe Puff. Yeah. There you go. Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
There's those
Okay.
guys. And we have a cable. And the shells, they're all like of a piece.
This reached all their fundraising goals. So Adam, look.
No way. The Venkaman memory cards.
Star?
Do they include a sheet? Do they include a cheat?
Plus. Very nice.
That is fantastic. I didn't realize. Okay. Ooh.
Or, I want to say. Ooh.
It looks like about 3 meters.
Yeah. It's real hardware.
Yeah. And the question is, lovely. Is crazy cool.
This is nice.
That they've included the strap and the hanger for this. That is a lovely, lovely thing. And now, of course, I want to.
Oh, look at this. So these are molded parts.
That's a molded. Oh my gosh. That's
Okay.
amazing.
All right. You have like a
Yeah.
little zip tie here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. The complexity of that piece is.
This is
great.
completely manufactured by them. It is a replica of a real
Of a found
relay.
part. That's right. Let's plug it in.
Okay. But this has a little 1/4-20
Okay.
bolt for mounting.
Push the bolt.
No way!
Cartridge comes out.
Are you kidding me?
There it goes.
What? A Phillips. Dude, it's a real ghost trap. I forgot all about that functionality. That's crazy.
Let's get
All right, yeah.
6 AA's.
6
4 for the
AA's,
trap,
I got 'em.
2 for the P.K.E. Sorry, 7 total. 7 total. 3 for the P.K.E. 4 for the trap. All right, I think we are
Yep.
fully in.
All right. And does the trap need
I
batteries
don't
as well? No, I think it's all powered from
Yes,
here.
I think you're correct.
Is that? Oh!
Lights on. Okay, shall we flip on the power? Main power's here.
Yeah, let's flip it on.
All right.
All
I
right.
remember there is a volume control which is right here, so we're gonna max that out. Does it? Oh, look. It does tell you
Really?
the
What?
volume. Great.
That's amazing.
All right. Let's try flipping some switches. So this is mode select. Right turn is no ghost mode, quick open. So left turn is extended. Okay, why don't you activate it?
It opens to catch a ghost.
And that's the extended mode for your play, and then it closes.
Dude.
And we get the blinking. There it goes. And then this animation, 6 animations here I can cycle between.
All right. Oh, different blinkings. Okay.
Nice.
Back and forth. Cylon. Party.
There it goes. Very nice.
I like that.
There's 6 LEDs in here, so you do have a little bit of illumination.
Oh, so hit it once, hit it again, and it closes up.
Nice.
That's great.
Okay. To the containment unit.
To the containment unit. Oh my God.
Oh, I like that. The big dial here on the back lets us select between 12 different ghost effects. So they've taken the effects from the ghosts from the films across all of them. And so I think if we cycle them, it'll be a different ghost sound that locks in.
Oh. You realize.
That's a lot of foam.
It is a lot. Dude, this is crazy great. And to be fair, like, this kind of paint job is the hardest thing to mass manufacture because you've got to pay a lot to have people individually add paint per step.
Yeah, that's right.
They agree. Or you screen print. Drove it down here. It was non-trivial. These things are heavy. They're exhausting. And then all of this rackage came into my already full display space and working shop and crippled this place for about 3 weeks. You could barely move. I actually got mildly depressed. Like that liminal space, like moving is really hard for me. Moving house, moving apartment. I do not like the liminal space. I like to have landed somewhere. And whenever I have to spend a few weeks in a liminal space, it's difficult for me emotionally. And so I was having that moment. But here's the thing. When I said I could take the racks, I knew that I could fit them in here. I just didn't know exactly how, but I knew that they would work. But I hadn't planned to expand into that area for months. I was kicking that mental can down the road until Sean accepted my offer, and then, well, it's time to just deal with it. So my shop assistant Orlando and my assistant Veronica and a couple other people and I spent a week packing up the entire display area. So let me just describe to you for a second what the display area was. It was 14 Billy bookcases with 6 shelves each, housing lightsabers, Legos, astronauts, space stuff, everything imaginable. Now, this is a map I have in my head. How do you pack all this stuff up to be accessed later? I kept the mental map. We took a photo of every single shelf, and each shelf went into a single legal-sized file box, carefully packed with paper and packing materials. And then the picture of that shelf went on that box, and it was numbered in the shelves, A through M, with shelves 1 through 6 in each one. And they are now sitting in a temporary storage space in the orientation they were here in the cave. So everything I could ever need out of any of those display cases, I can go to that storage space and get that thing immediately. It's stunning. Once we moved all that stuff out, we started building the shop, but it wasn't something that you could do like that. You had to kind of be taking down Billy bookcases and chronicling them, which we did for 2 whole days, at the same time as you're also building the shop. And I think I've given enough of a preamble so that Joey can actually swing camera left, and you can see just how much more space I have in this part of the shop. And, well, there's a lot of things going on here. There used to be a nut and bolt cabinet here. This drill press used to live over there. But in tap sizes and decimal equivalents. I'm going to put some other art here. Joe Johnston, director of all your favorite movies and designer of Boba Fett and a million other things, started as the ultimate model-making triple threat. They could draw anything, direct movies, and also make all the models. Joe Johnston signed the back of one of these. We can't remember which one, but his signature's on the back. I was looking. These racks aren't 1970s old, but I was looking at these racks over the shoulders of Lauren Peterson and Steve Gawley and Joe Johnston when I was 11 and 12 years old. There are pieces in these racks that were in those magazine articles that young me read and thought, I want to do that as a job. That's part of the story that these carry and why I wanted to keep them with their brethren. And so let's continue on. I'm not sure if Millipete's going to stay in here. We're still deciding. These are my old brass racks and lengthy material stuff. We got to actually sort a whole bunch of the weirder stuff I had in here into the big blues. And, oh yeah, here, I can move this. There were 2 of these, and I only brought 1 over. this 8-foot tall monstrosity is actually super useful. And a lot of the allocation of this may eventually change, but it's fantastic for having this kind of specific lengths of material. Here we have all the clear stuff. I want to say clear shit. Here we have all the clear stuff. Again, you can't have too many sizes and layouts of clear. Oh, I totally forgot when we're talking about tubing. I'm so sorry. If you turn and we talk about these things, this stuff, this gray plastic, not this orange plastic, this gray plastic. This is Plastruct model making styrene. This is styrene, which means it glues easily to model kit parts and to evergreen styrene, this kind of stuff. You've seen this in every hardware store in the world. It glues beautifully with this. And this is how we did all the circles and columns at ILM, was the varying lengths and widths and diameters of this stuff. I have the, oh no, it went here. I have the clear, heavy clear tubing up top. It's just this. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how much this makes my hands itch to make spaceships. When they were working on a picture, they would order a bazillion of something and then have to sort it later. I know, these kind of belong over there. And all of this is a work in progress. All right, we'll put that right there. These, you have no idea. These are, again, Plastruct architectural modeling materials. Here's what they look like when you buy them at a store that sells this kind of stuff. But wait, which one is this? This is a VE400. There it goes. Yes, there it is. This is what you might recognize. That particular shallow dome is really in use as a pair of these. These are so ubiquitous in film, and here's every size ever, plus little discs, little rings, little elbows. I didn't know this, but when you are designing the architecture of an oil refinery, and now it is the hardware store for my cave. Lastly, there's these 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, almost 20 of these cabinets, again, filled with all sorts of tiny little architectural goodness. I have yet to crawl through all of these. It has literally been less than 5 days since we finished this build. Eventually, of course, one of each of the pieces that sits in here will get glued to the front of this so that you can see what goes in every container. Wait, is that the right one? The question is, did you put it back in the right? Yes, I did. There we go. There's still a lot to do. Before we get to my part of the hardware store, I wanted to say this is no joke that this club chair is here. This is one of the places I go to relax when I hit some problem I can't solve, or I just feel like I need to veg for a little bit, or frankly, when I have a text to send, I'll sit down here in my chair. This is like a early 20th century. It's got these flat spots here that are literally specifically for your drink. I was in a thrift store with my wife that is not more than about 800 feet from where we're sitting right now. And I said to her, look at this club chair. It's like my platonic ideal of a club chair. I just wanted you to see it. It's a great example. And she said, you know that commerce means you could exchange money for that and take it home. And I was like, I literally hadn't occurred to me. I had that home like an hour later, and it's been one of my favorite chairs ever since. Okay, on to my hardware store. All of the Sortimo cabinets came over and are now in one location, right and other angles. And this is a little metal shear for shearing metal, shearing plate metal, aluminum, steel, brass, what have you. These are really critical tools, and I actually use them all the time, but they have been living on the floor for the entire 13 years they've been here. This isn't their final resting space. As you can see, I've just placed it here, but this will be solidly mounted to the wall so that I can come over here and do sheet metal work when I need to, rather than having to get these out. Oh, I forgot one feature that I meant to show you of these model racks. So these racks were built by Nelson Hall. Nelson Hall is not the tallest guy at ILM, and in order for Nelson to see what was in these upper racks and to see, oh, I need some of these hemisters. Are there any in there? Well, Nelson put mirrors up here so that he and the other shorter model makers could actually see if there was stuff in the drawers by looking up in the mirrors. This stuff all needs a bit of work. These are still serving me quite well. These cases have been serving me quite well, full of some of my heavier and weirder shaped things. Oh yeah, that's also kind of, there's so many categories. Right, I was at the paints, I was at the metal breaks. The shop lab oven is great here, and I want it out on the floor. It's something that I use way more frequently than I thought I would. Again, this might not be its final container, or it might not be its final platform, but this case specifically, with its fold-up sides, was for sale at a garage sale in 1992. And I was there with my friend Mark, and the guy said, I said, oh, are you selling this cabinet? Because I really like this cabinet. And he said, I don't know. Are you an artist? And I said, yeah. And he said, because I love this case and I love this table and I want it to go to an artist. And I've had it ever since and I've loved it ever since. It's full of some paperwork right now. And again, like I said, it might not end up being a final resting place for the lab oven, but it's nice to see this piece out and about again. It's been sitting way back part of the display. Very nicely, my safety cabinet has come out from the corner where it should be, and we have safety for breath, for eyes, for hands, and for ears. It's a long time coming. This has literally been one of the hardest to reach cabinets in the shop, which tells you something. And perhaps my favorite part about this room right now is that I was able to bring over my old Shenhua 12x36 lathe and back it against my 15x40 lathe. This actually was M7's lathe. Tory and Grant used this for the whole run of Mythbusters. It ended up going down to Frank Leo's shop where he and his team built a stand for it. And that was the only thing I wanted for loaning this to them for about 10 years. It might have even been longer than 10 years. At any rate, Frank moved shop. He sent this back up north. I picked it up in January, and it's been sitting in storage waiting for a home here. And again, it's been part of like the amorphous mix of how this space might net out. I can't stress enough that I really was kicking the organizational can of this part of the shop way down the road. I was thinking of it like 6 months, a year and a half hence. But the second Sean called me and was like, you can come get these racks now, I was like, oh, I guess that plan's happening right freaking now. This is the bench that formerly lived over in the other part of the cave, the one with my flat files that I made in it, housing all these wonderful, useful tools. Flat files are such a vital part of shop. I'm actually thinking about building another flat file set. Because of how well this has turned out. And also, this is truly now a floating workbench. I can actually use it for some projects and be able, this is a current project, I'm going to replicate the old French kilogram. Le Grand Quai. Let's see, almost last, but certainly not least, one of my favorite bits of shop infrastructure ever is the nut and bolt sorter I made. This houses over 240, I think it's 244, wait a second. 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, that's 144, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 144, plus another 24, 48, 58, 68, 168 separate sorters. It took me forever just to find the sorting drawers that were this thin. This has remained one of the most effective organizational strategies I've ever built, especially because it's on wheels. Ooh, the foam brick fell from up there. It's literally why it's there. Again, put that in there. Oh, wait, no, it's button. There we go. And lastly, the newest sorter for all my stainless hardware that I got at a garage sale recently. This, and my gauge pins. This is my gauge pin cabinet. And again, this also may change a little bit. This might shift slightly. I'm not positive. But again, a shop is nothing but a process. It is not a completed item. It is a thing in motion. Sometimes it's moving faster. Sometimes it's moving slower. Very recently, it was moving at a breakneck speed. And now we have this amount of room. And I have to tell you, as I look through all the vantage points that I now have from this space, after 13 years of just a couple over there, I'm really moved. I'm emotionally moved. I feel like I've grown up a little bit. I feel like my process has grown up a little bit. I feel like actually, like my process grew up a while ago and I have grown up enough to match it and serve it. That's what I feel like is happening. That my process was like, hey, dude, you're gonna need to expand. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get to that. And it's like, we're really gonna need some more room. And I'm like, yeah, no, we'll get some big project. We'll get to that, I promise. And I was really planning on not dealing with it for a while. I am so grateful that at the moment the opportunity came to offer to keep these together, that I was able to offer that and to execute it. Because these are magnificent objects, these racks that came from the original Uptown models. They belong in a museum. They belong somewhere where someone is telling their story. Because the story of the amount of ingenuity and love and passion that went through those rooms at Industrial Light and Magic. As those buildings were shutting down, there were a couple of parties and a lot of talking amongst us, a lot of the old timers. And again, I'm not an old timer and I was only there for 6 years, but it really did change my life from the age of 10 on. I've spent my whole life sort of chasing the beautiful ingenuity that you can see in the movies like Star Wars and Raiders. And that is born out of those rooms of clever people building beautiful stuff, using racks like this. And I build stuff and I tell stories about stuff, and I'm so delighted to have more room to build stuff and more stories to tell about it. That's a tour. I'm sure there are a ton of questions. Go ahead and ask them in the comments if you have specific questions or specific ideas. I'd love to read them. There'll be other videos. There's going to be, just 2024 is going to be the year of shop infrastructure builds, man. There's going to be a bunch of franchise stuff, but it's a lot of shop infrastructure. Thank you guys for joining me. I've been so excited to share this with you. And like Joey, who's shooting right now, he got to see it today for the first time. And the sound he made is like, oh, I've been dying to hear that. Like, whoa! I hope you've gotten a tiny taste of that. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
A man of your pedigree deserves to be the first one to react.
Bless you.
So I'm sure you're aware of our proto lightsaber. Propane, oxygen, flame, laminar flow, looks like a lightsaber. We did it. The world's first retractable plasma-based lightsaber. So we've actually spent the past year now. We built a class 100 clean room at our facility.
What?
In order to be able to manufacture our own liquid oxygen components. Because by the way, that is rocket science. And if you do it wrong,
Your ambition is remarkable. That's spectacular.
yeah. So we've been revising the system. It's super easy to put the propane in the hilt, but to be able to get the flow rate of oxygen required to sustain this flame, the only way is liquid oxygen.
Oh my God, so you have a LOX tank built into this thing now?
Yeah.
I will tell you,
and a liquid nitrogen purge system, and like
we investigated. There's a famous liquid oxygen myth that we investigated on the show and wrote 3 times.
And every time we wrote it out, we felt it's too dangerous for us to test. Liquid oxygen is the scariest stuff on Earth to me.
Yep, the cleaning process. I think it's a 15-step process. We even have a
because any debris you end up in there,
there's
will
a
get
chance for
heavily
ignition.
oxidized.
Yeah, and even beyond like the fact like it will automatically pressurize the system to pressures that nothing can withstand. So
yeah, mistakes are catastrophic.
yeah, so Bogdan's been working on this for the past year full time. He was actually going to be here to explain it to you. Unfortunately, he was actually in a car accident literally yesterday. He's fine.
He's fine. Okay.
But it was like if he wasn't in a Tesla, he might have died. Like literally a front end collision. He's like pulled out. Like,
but he's okay.
Yeah. So I will do my best to explain this. Understand that I didn't design this. I've got a pretty good understanding of it.
Maybe if you turn this off, you can release the video.
Yeah. So anyway, couldn't bring a real one. Obviously, we only have one right now. We're still doing tests. We did our first successful production test last week, actually.
Right in the thick of this.
Yeah, ran into some issues. I think one of the biggest problems with this design is it'll never ever be commercially viable. And it really is more of this science experiment because the design both needs to be preheated on one side and pre-cooled at a cryogenic level on the other side. But once it's running, it's self-sustaining. And I'll go over how that works right now. So it's a 3D printed version. We painted the parts, so it looks pretty good. Logan's actually the one who painted it together. So this is half of it with the cross-sectional area. And this is basically what the full thing would look like. So we can go over the different pieces. This is the propane tank. So you can